This wedding, I'm a videographer and a photographer, so we call it hybrid photography. And this location, I've been here before, is, as you can see, just a really beautiful location. I'm going to take you to this wedding from the beginning to the end, and probably you are very curious on what I did on this wedding. So I'm going to show you a bit of the wedding video, and also I'm going to show you the photos I shot. And now let's go to the wedding! This video is packed with a lot of before and after photos and videos. So you can see what I've done on this wedding as in photo or in video. The gear I've used is two Canon cameras, two R5s with one 35mm 1.4 lens and one 50mm 1.2 lens. If you're curious why I don't use zoom lenses, I think zoom lenses are for lazy photographers. If you want to know why, check out, I got a video about it. You can see it in this video. Click on the link or in the description below, and I'm happy to explain to you why I think you shouldn't use zoom lenses for wedding photography. I use a variable ND filter from POV Pro, so I can adjust my lights, especially for video, and I use a black mist filter by Tiffin because I like that feeling of the light that breaks down in the shots. So I'll take you with me on the camera settings I've used. I use different settings for different kind of occasions on the wedding day, and for every part of the wedding I will show you what I've done, what I've used, so you know how to create it yourself. So for the detail photos I always use a 1.2 for non-moving objects, and I go from 1.8 to 2.8 for people. I use a shutter of around 125. My ISO is around 800. For video it's always 800, and for photo I stick around 800. Sometimes I go lower to 100, or in the evening I will go higher. I also will tell you when I use photo or video and what's my priority. So in most cases I will put video above photo, because in photo I can recreate something, in a video, especially with emotion, I can't recreate it. So then I will grab my video always before I use photo. For detail photos, because this chart is about detail photos, I always create opportunity for detail photos. I want to make something very beautiful of the shoes or the rings or stuff that's very important to them. I want to make little art pieces like fine art photography or fine art film. I mainly shoot handheld. I very rarely use a stabilizer. I'm very stable for myself. I know how to hold a camera. And maybe I should make a video about it, to how you should hold a camera, so you're way more stable than you think you can be. What I also use, especially when in the beginning part of the wedding, is haze spray, like an atmosphere spray, and that makes me able to give a certain vibe in the video. How to shoot the hybrid getting ready shots. So we begin with the camera settings. I stick around 1.5, 2.8, depending on the moment that's happening in front of me. Shutter around 125 up to 250 if I want something to be very sharp. Mostly 125. ISO again 800 down to 100. And the room where the groom isn't a very beautiful room. The carpet looks horrible, and you have to deal with it, because that's what it is. I mean, it's not the most pretty room in the world, but still you have to make pretty photos, videos, because people book me because I want pretty shots. So what do I do? Well, the first thing I always do is turn off the lights. I don't want to have any artificial light coming from above. It is orange, it is ugly, we don't want it, it's fugly. Then I will make sure that I use the window light in my advantage. So sometimes I will shoot against the light, sometimes I will shoot with the light. You can see it in the backstage videos what I do. And I use my variable ND filter to block unnecessary light. That way I can make it a little bit darker around my subject and make sure that my subject, in this case the groom or the bride, is bright. And when I shoot videos, you can see that they are very present in the video, and everything around them is a little more dark and black and more in the shadow. But that's what I want, so I can leave out the ugly part of the room. And what I also do is shoot very close. If the room isn't that beautiful, I will shoot more close, so you don't really notice the ugly parts of a room, like a carpet or a stupid painting on a wall that's too colorful. I create my own little space in my camera. And you can see the difference between the behind the scenes shots, and you can see the difference between what I shoot with my R5. So also a very important thing when I'm shooting multiple people together, or in general multiple people together, let them squeeze. Everyone that has had me at the wedding knows the word squeeze, because you have to squeeze together. People tend to stand too far away from each other, and I want them to stand very close to each other. If you squeeze, it just looks so much more fun. You do a photo shoot, squeeze. Group photo, squeeze. Maids of honor photo together, squeeze. Freaking squeeze the hell out of it. When I shoot, like I told before, I shoot sometimes from the window for like a sharp shot, so I get a lot of light, and also I shoot from the other side against the light for a more cinematic view. So like more arty-farty vibe, and when I shoot from the window, it's a more like a clear, sharp vibe, and I mix them up. Because your client wants sharp photos, but also want a very beautiful photos, beautiful videos. So mix that up. Feel what works the best. And when I shoot against the light, you can really see what the mist filter is able to do. It breaks down the light, and it works like a blanket that is literally surrounding your subject. In this case, the bride or the groom. It just looks so much better. And never ever put your camera away, because you could miss a very important moment, like the moment in this video where the bride and the mother have a little tear. So always make sure you're focused and don't put your camera away too close. Put your camera away when you're out of the room, but if you're in the room, always hold your camera. So how to hybrid shoot the first look? Well, let's start with the camera settings. I go a little bit up in aperture, like 2.8, shutter around 250 maybe, so I'm sure everything is sharp enough, but sometimes I go down to 125, but mostly 250, depending on the assisting light. ISO 100 up to 800, and this is one of the most difficult things as a hybrid photographer or videographer, because you got one shot to do it right. So use your intuition and also your logic. Think before you shoot. In the case of a first look, I always shoot in video first, because I want to make sure that I got emotion in the video. And if I would shoot photo and then video second, I will lose that emotion. And people, when they see the photos and videos, don't really know what you did first, but you know. And this is the difference in the video if you shoot emotion first. How to hybrid shoot the wedding photo shoot. Let's start with the settings. I go down to 1.4 up to 1.8, not really higher than that, because I like aperture to be very, very thin. I like low numbers, high aperture. Shutter around 125 to 50, ISO because it's outside, or inside 800, outside 100. And as I said before, the weather. The weather was very much changing continuously, so it's because if you have the sunny day or like a very overcast day, it's difficult, it's different light and it looks so different. So you want to make sure everything looks the same, feels the same. So that's why I play around with shooting inside and shooting outside. So I started my day with shooting some inside cinematic shots. Especially for the video, I wanted to have some cool cinematic shots. About the posing, because posing is a lot of videographers find posing very difficult. Some photographers find it very difficult. What I do, I find a very natural flow of posing. I don't let people really pose. I just let them grab each other and squeeze together. And I just say, act like I'm not here and just have fun together. And if you follow my videos for a longer time, you know my rule: emotion always goes before composition. If you're only thinking about composition, your photos will really suck, because you need emotion in your photos. Especially wedding photography is about emotion, capturing that feeling between two people. If you don't have the emotion in your photos, it looks like a random photo. You want to feel what they feel. In a photo shoot, I try to incorporate some elements that are very important for the wedding couple. So that's the location. So when I'm shooting, I make sure the location is in the background. You can see we shot at that location. Also the dress and the veil is very important. So the dress, the bride bought a very beautiful dress, and make sure you can see the dress in the video, in the photo, the movement of the dress, the way the dress is, the light falling on the dress, also the veil. And also I want to capture the love between the couple. I want to see joy. I want to see it's real. I don't want to see that it's a photo shoot with a photographer. I want to see two people in love and somebody so happened to make a photo of it. That's a big difference. And I want them to see the photos afterwards and also the video and go like, wow, this is so cool. It's so beautiful. And they start crying and everything. Maybe they cry because it's so horrible. I don't know, but they cry a lot when I see my work. And I think that's a very big compliment that I make people cry actually. And if you follow me on Instagram, if you didn't, go follow me on Instagram. You'll see I've made a lot of Vel shots. And there's a reason why I made a lot of Vel shots is because couples request these kind of photos. Some couples even bought it so I can shoot those photos. It's like your favorite music artist playing and you're hoping that person plays your favorite song. And after more than 1,000 weddings, it's kind of challenging to do something creative with it because I did everything with it. But still, if the couple is happy, I'm happy. How to hybrid shoot a wedding ceremony. Let's start with the camera settings. I go from 1.4 to 2.8. So when the bride or groom is walking down the aisle, I will use 2.8. But when they're sitting down, I can go to 1.4, even 1.2. I don't care. I want to have like the very vibey shots and very atmospheric shots, as you will see in my videos and my photos. Shutter around 125, 250. As you can see, I do a lot of the same stuff every time. I'm not really worrying about the settings. But when the bride or groom walks down the aisle, I will always start with video, then make a couple of photos and go back to video. Unless that person is like Usain Bolt and running really fast, then I'll only have video. But it depends on the person walking there. And I'm hoping then don't walk too fast. Always tell the couple, walk slowly, enjoy the moment, so I can also shoot photos and videos. In this case, the video got ruined by someone of the wedding location. Because that person, as the bride was walking down the aisle, that person decided to crawl. And you can see it in the video, crawl behind her, so nobody sees that person. But you're such an idiot if you do something like that, because just wait 15 seconds and nobody is noticing you anymore. And now at the moment of the moment supreme, you start to crawl behind the bride. You are such an idiot. And next time I go back to that wedding location, I will definitely show them what happened, because you can't do that. It's a very beautiful wedding location. I like to go, it's one of my favorite locations, but you can't crawl behind the bride when the bride's walking. And that's for everyone. If you're on a wedding and the moment the bride and groom start walking, don't go stand behind them, because there's a videographer, there's a photographer, we're shooting photos and video. Don't fluff it up. It's really annoying. Use your brain a little. It's not that difficult. So your position at the wedding ceremony is very important. If you go stand everywhere and walk around like a border collie, you're gonna see it in shots and people is going to irritate, because you're so walking everywhere, running around, laying on the floor, nowhere you have to stand. So my assistant Nikea had the assignment to stay away from the couple and just go in the other parts of the ceremony, so you don't have two people standing in front of them. And I will be close at the couple at some points, like the vows or the kiss maybe, but sometimes I will be closer, but I'm very calculated. So I walk closer, take my video, take my photo and go back. I do it very calculated. Everything I do is very calculated in a wedding ceremony. I know what to do, where to stand and how to do it. And the reason why I stand close sometimes is because I want to feel that emotion. And I chose a prime lens, so if I have to zoom, I have to walk. I can't zoom with my lens, so I have to walk with zoom with my legs. But a wedding couple mostly never notice that I'm there. That's the thing I always hear, that they didn't really notice me. And that's the thing I want. Even if I'm quite tall, I'm a quite tall Dutch guy, people still don't notice me. And that's a strange thing, but I'm always happy that people don't notice me. As soon as I have my shot, I go back and let the moment go on as it were, or as it still is going. And I want to have a huge shout out for the bride, because she's wearing a veil the whole time during the ceremony. And I don't see that often, and I want to see it more, because I really love it. So big shout out to her. So the moment the groom lifts the veil and kisses her is just magic. I can't think of a more classical way of the first kiss on a wedding day. I think this is the most beautiful way to do it. I didn't do it this way with my wife, because we had very different from this, but This is my favorite thing as a photographer. So when the couple's married and they walk down the aisle or back down the aisle, I always have to ask them to give each other so when the couple's married and walk back down the aisle, I always ask them to give each other a big, fat, huge kiss. And they did, and they didn't disappoint. They did give each other a big, fat, huge kiss. And in general, couples do that, and it works so great. It's great for your video, for your photos, to have great shots. So how to hybrid shoot a wedding dinner? Well, let's start with the camera settings. I stick around 1.4, 1.6, shutter 1.25 because people sitting, they're not walking around. ISO 800 up to 1600. No flash. I don't think flash is necessary in this part, and if I use a flash, it's very soft, bouncy flash against the ceiling. During the dinner, I just want to catch the vibe of the dinner. I don't want to have shooting people right in the face while they're eating. I want to have the coziness, the vibe of the dinner. I shoot photo video of the people giving toast because that's very important for the wedding couple. But besides that, I let them eat and enjoy, so I can recharge myself, eat a little bit, and make an intro for this video, for instance. So how to hybrid shoot dancing wedding guests? Start with the camera settings. So of course I'll use a flash for this because I think a little bit of flashy photos is great for this. In this case I put my flash up, but a lot of cases I just aim it straight at the couple. My aperture is around 5.6, shutter around 80, and my ISO around 1600. It depends on the wedding location, but I know this location, this works great. So if you want to see the full wedding video, it's in the description below or on your screen right now. So you can click this video and watch the full video. If you want more behind the scenes, give me a follow. That will be awesome. And remember to take a lot of shots, but always stay focused.